The Blazers are represented by Tumani Kamara, and he did a terrible job.
He's more of a defensive player. We needed an offensive guy out there grabbing balls because it didn't work.
Yeah, the Blazers had a 63% chance of landing the number 10 pick. They actually ended up with the number 11 pick.
Yeah. Come on down, Con Knipple. Although in most drafts, he's actually slated to go before the Blazers pick.
Oh, don't worry. He'll drop to the Blazers right where they want him.
So they're not even in Con Knipple range. That's how low they are.
Yes, they are outside the Con Knipple range.
So Blazers will pick 11th, and the story of the night is that both Dallas and San Antonio jumped into the top two spots. Utah and Washington fell to 5 and 6. So Dallas will pick first. Dallas, of Nico Harrison fame, tell me the fix isn't in with them getting the number 1 pick.
Follow me on this. And I'm being dead serious. The conspiracy theory stuff normally doesn't really tickle me, but you make a trade that no one, and I mean no one in the NBA can justify. A generational 25-year-old player coming off a season where he took you to the NBA Finals, and you trade him to the Los Angeles Lakers for seemingly no reason, and you don't open that trade up to anyone else, and you get a haul that no one can figure out how you traded him for so little. And they take all the flack in the world for it, and then just the next generational, by the way, white player. How about that? Luka, Dirk, and Cooper Flagg. They have some sort of magnet for the generational whites.
That's if they take Flag.
If they take Flag.
Nico may pass on Flag.
Wouldn't that they trade it for Giannis?
They actually could do that.
I suppose.
Now, that wouldn't be a bad play.
If you were trying to say, hey, we're in a win mode
But
now.
knowing Nico, he'd trade it for $2 million in a freaking pallet of Diet Coke.
And then it just so happens with less than a 2% chance, you end up with the number 1 pick.
So what do you think happens? Is it okay?
And real quick too, Adam Silver in an interview credited he just said a trade really helped us in the second half of the season to generate interest in a year where the ratings had been down.
So what happened? The NBA gave the Mavs the number 1 pick.
Yes.
Simply for making their little darling Lakers better.
Yes.
Okay, there's that. Perhaps they gave the Mavs the number 1 pick to make sure they stay in Dallas because the owner trading Luka signified that maybe they were tanking their team to go to Vegas. Okay, so maybe the NBA is like, try tanking this.
Yeah. There you go.
Or Ainge tanked. We all know he tanked. And he did a hell of a job with it.
And they got fined for tanking.
And he didn't like that, or the NBA didn't like that, and they wanted to make sure that he didn't get number 1.
Well,
which conspiracy theory do you like the most?
I like the idea of helping out the Lakers and doing a solid and punishing the tanking teams, the Wizards. Because think about it, it wasn't just it was the Wizards, the Hornets, and the Jazz, which were all actively tanking.
Yeah, so wait, Dallas picks 1, San Antonio 2,
yes,
Philly 3, Charlotte 4, Utah 5, Washington 6.
So the 3 crappy teams that no one is interested in, regardless of whether they could get Cooper Flagg or not, and were actively tanking, are all punished by moving back in places that no one wants to see Cooper Flagg go. And just so happens that 3 teams that do have interesting players and have history all move up, and they're 1, 2, 3. I mean, I know it's not Cooper Flagg, but San Antonio is going to add in a very, very deep draft. They're going to add the second best player to Fox, Wemby, Castle, and now throw in, I don't know, Ron Harper's kid or Ace Bailey, whatever, direction you want to go. And then Philly, who again has Maxey, Embiid, George. I know they're all hurt, but now you add a top 3 player to that. Yeah, it's very convenient.
Very
and by
bizarre.
very convenient, I mean suspicious.
Yeah, very suspicious.
This is the
David Stern would be proud of
this. Is Aldo Rain. Yeah, we got a word for that kind of coincidence. It's called suspicious. It's just, this is not going to do the NBA any favors.
You think Stern
in the land of public
not
opinion.
Stern, but Silver's like, oh my God.
Yes.
Now I got to answer all these questions.
100%. 100%.
So the Spurs pick 2 and 14. 13th pick will be Atlanta. Chicago picks 12. Blazers 11. Houston 10. Toronto 9. Brooklyn 8. And New Orleans picks 7.
Yeah. More importantly, get ready for the Blazers to grab. Let's look at. You're going to be in the. Derek Queen. He might be in that range. Center from Maryland. Igor Demon, The shooting guard, 6'9" out of BYU.
All right.
He do pay us the money.
That's Derek Queen.
Well, SGA went 11th,
Yeah.
but so did Myers Leonard.
Except SGA ended up being the MVP for a team not named the one that drafted him, number 11. Who's that? Is it the Kasparis guy, the big 6'6" guard out of Illinois?
Yeah.
Kasparaitis or Kasparanius? Kasparanus?
Kasparinus.
Isn't that his name? I don't know.
I don't.
He's a good player.
I don't think it's Kasparinus.
I think it's
I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
I
But
do not believe it's Kasparinus.
no.
I'm excited about Kasparinus. That's like Kernalingus, the old Saturday Night Live sketch. But he's like a 6'6".
I think
guess
it's Jakachonis is his last
Yes.
Yakachonis, I think.
Yakachonis?
Yeah.
I mean,
name. Yeah, no J.
look, either way, developmental player. So shocking development will push the can down the road like another 3 years. But
Kasparis
Yakachonis?
Yakachonis.
yeah,
That's his name.
so,
I like him. Good
you
shooter.
know, someone like that, young, 19, not 6'1", not 6'2".
All right.
Go
Well,
with that.
by the way, I looked it up. So you were talking about Anthony Bennett and the Cavs getting back-to-back number 1 picks.
Yeah, in 2 of the most ass drafts of all time.
Well, I went back because I was asking the question: was there really anyone good after Anthony Bennett? Because I don't remember. I remember that draft just really sucking. Like
The
there
answer
was
is no.
So yeah, the answer is no. Like Victor Oladipo went number 2, and he
Yeah.
was fine. But I mean, come on. Otto Porter, Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore. Those are the top 7.
Yeesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then Contavious Caldwell Pope. Oh my God. Kentavious Caldwell Pope,
Mhm.
and he was a NBA role player.
Whatever.
Trey Burke, CJ McCollum. You may
Mhm.
remember him. He played for the Blazers. Pretty good little player.
I was told he was so good there was no way we could possibly trade him.
And then Michael Carter Williams, who I think won Rookie of the Year and then flamed out. Steven Adams went 12th that year.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk, Shabazz Muhammad, and at 15,
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
We can officially say that draft was absolute ass because no one, and Giannis was years to come around.
And then Gobert went 27th.
Yeah.
But other than that,
And by the way, Cleveland the next year got the number 1 pick again. This is the one that was dealt for Kevin Love, which in hindsight, they don't do. But that was Andrew Wiggins. And that draft was also ass because after that, you got Embiid, although
no, you have Jabari Parker.
I know, I'm just saying, like the next good player. Like Embiid went 3 overall, sat out his rookie year, and then has been good, but also just injury riddled. Like Julius Randle was in that draft. Okay.
He's pretty good.
You got to go all the way down. The best player in that draft was Jokic at 41.
God.
Dude, they had the number 1 pick in back-to-back drafts that both sucked.
Isn't that crazy that, yeah, and that's why it's just hard.
You never know.
It's just hard. You really don't know because if you think about those 2 drafts, so the Cavs get the number 1 pick in back-to-back drafts, and the 2 best players by a landslide in those 2 drafts went 15th and 41st.
Yeah.
So how the hell are you going to freaking identify those guys?
And yet, well, you can't. Not when you're number 1, because if you're the number 1 pick, there's zero chance you look at a guy like Giannis and be like, well, I think that's who we're taking number 1. But, and then the year before that, Anthony Davis is number 1. So there's some years where
yeah.
you have really elite players at the top and some you don't. And then sometimes you get the number 1 pick and you have an elite player at the top and you don't take him. Like Kevin Durant.
Ooh, that's a little bit of a knife.
Is it?
It is.
I think it's true.
Well,
You had like a top 10
whatever.
player in NBA history. And
Still a knife.
you drafted
Something I would say.
Greg Oden.
Not you. You're supposed to be a Blazers apologist.
It's actually pretty neat.
Because I looked that was a weird run because so Anthony Bennett, Wiggins, and then the next year after that, Karl Anthony Towns. That's
Cat.
dude, that's 3 years in a row where the number 1 pick is like, and then number 2 is D'Angelo Russell.
Ugh.
Dude, there's a
D'Lo.
Yeah, best player in that draft was 13, Devin Booker.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
So really what you want to
And
do.
so it just so happens that this year is a draft where everyone's like, this is the one you want.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
I know, but it still ends up with the freaking Dallas Mavericks.
I think the proof here, or the lesson here, Jace,
Mhm.
you want to pick 11th.
Myers Leonard.
He was 11th. Zach Collins was right around that range. Siege was around that range. Come on. Prove me wrong.
Can we get Colin Knippel?
Blazers didn't want number 1. They wanted a number 11, and they got it.
I'm going to look up at the history of number 11 draft picks.
Well, like I
I'm
said,
looking at that right now.
SGA is one of them.
Miles Turner,
Hey.
Good
Klay
player.
Thompson,
Oh.
Oh, wow.
JJ Redick.
Eh. Are we onto something that the pick you want in the draft is indeed number 11? I'm waiting for the GM.
Domantas Sabonis.
It's not the GM, bro. What are we calling Cronin? I don't know. I'm just waiting for Cronin to come out and
Milquetoast?
and tell me that
Guys, move on.
the pick that we really wanted was number 11.
This puts us in the range that we really want.
It's
right
the
here.
sweet spot of our
I think it's really
evaluation.
sexy.
This is what we really want. Can't wait.